The children about capitalism and how to be a capitalist, they are immediately labeled socialist or communist and run out of the room. Right? It's a taboo. Don't you think that's strange? That in a capitalist country, we cannot teach our children to be capitalists? Oh, think about it. Because you see, in a capitalist country, you are either a capitalist or you are a victim. There's no in between. There's no in between. You either play the game here or you're a victim of it. Now you have to make a choice. Of course, you can always leave the country. That's another choice. Right? Now, capitalism demands competition, selfishness, and mean-spiritedness. It demands it. But what do they teach your children in school? Be cooperative. Be cooperative. Take your turn. Don't fight. Don't cheat. Now, everybody engaged in capitalism knows that the motto is win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. And what I'm trying to explain to you, ladies and gentlemen, is the real world that our children live in, not the ideal one that we want them to live in, not this wonderful world that we pray that will come here one day, but the real world that they have to live in. You want to know why they're acting so crazy? You want to know why they're doing the things that they're doing? Because we have not prepared them to live in this real world. We have sent them through 12 years of school teaching them this dumb stuff that doesn't work, and when they go out and try to apply it and get killed for it, we are not there. You want to know why they're acting so crazy? You want to know why they're doing the things that they're doing? Because we have not prepared them to live in this real world. We have sent them through 12 years of school teaching them this dumb stuff that doesn't work, and when they go out and try to apply it and get killed for it, we are not there to help them through. One day, but the real world that they have to live in. You want to know why they're acting so crazy? You want to know why they're doing the things that they're doing? Because we have not prepared them to live in this real world. We have sent them through 12 years of school teaching them this dumb stuff that doesn't work, and when they go out and try to apply it and get killed for it, we are not there to help them through. All right. We are not there. We fade away on them. Somewhere around about 9th grade, we start talking about, I can't control him. I can't do nothing with it. Get out of my house if you don't do what I tell you to do. And we abandon them to the mean streets and then cry because they give mercy. Capitalism is not compatible with equality. It is not compatible with equity. It is not compatible with Christianity, no matter how hard we try. The struggle for survival in the United States is the handling of this never-ending tension between the institutional values of race, gender, and wealth, which give undue and unearned privileges and advantages to some so that others cannot compete on an equal basis for the resources of this country. This is the game. This is the game, ladies and gentlemen. As I often told you, politics is the management of the conflict which occurs when groups war over the resources. Resources include money, land, right? So politics is just the passing around of the resources. If you don't have the resources, as I often told you, you're not in the game. Black people just don't get it. All right. We just don't get it.
We just don't get it. Yeah, we gonna get it today, though, guys. We gonna get it today. Salute, salute. What's up? What's up? Welcome, all my old comers and all my newcomers, man. Thank y'all. Those of y'all coming over from the community tab. Salute to y'all and welcome to class. Get comfortable. This is me. All I know how to do is give you me. I'm not a character. I'm not a gimmick. I'm just me. I like to have a good time, y'all. Salute. Hit that like button on the check-in. That's how you pay your school tuition around here. And keep in mind, you can also hit that dislike button on your way out. It wouldn't matter to me. You know what I mean? It wouldn't matter to me. But today's class, we're talking about the Woman King, guys. And I could take two things from this movie right here. We can take two things from this movie right here. Being black folks, being black African American individuals. We can take two things from this movie. And the two things that we're gonna take from this movie, guys, is pitiful. It's pitiful how we just gotten used to creating our own narrative. In fact, this movie shows us that we don't even control our own narrative, and we're cool with letting somebody else control our narrative as long as we get a dopamine hit. As long as the go along, get along group they're catering the narrative, get a dopamine hit. Foolishness, guys. Foolishness. And we also going to attack the victim mentality in the black community today, guys. So sit back, hold tight. We're going to take them to church, guys. We're going to take them to church. Keep in mind that we don't subscribe to any groups, gangs, communities, religions, feelings, or emotions. We subscribe to the truth. We subscribe to common sense. We call out bad behavior in both men and women in the black community and in white community. We don't matter. We call out bad behavior, period. We remove the gray area. Do not complicate common sense. So now is the time, guys, that over here, if you cannot intake new information, it's time to hit the lockers, guys. It's time to go hit the lockers. Aviated View Sounds, can you please escort those fickle-minded, victim mentality individuals to the locker room? Now, my God, thanks, my God. Now, I mean, for the rest of you that like to win and that like to educate yourself and like to stay ahead of the curve, salute to you guys. Pat yourself on the back. You have now entered the righteous sphere where it's nothing but critical thinking. You know what I mean? It's nothing but critical thinking. And we have a good time. All right, guys. So let's go get into the content because a lot of you might not even know what we're talking about. Like, wait a minute. How does a movie, how does a movie expose slavery in America? We're going to get into it, guys. We're going to get into it. You got to become more emotional intelligent, guys. You got to see it for what it is. See things for what it is. And don't be so hyped to get free shit that's going to damage you in the long run. Because that's what we black individuals have come accustomed to, guys. We like to celebrate shit that's going to damage us because it feel good temporarily. The victim mindset, guys. We are not victims. We are not victims, man. We are not victims. Let's go over this quote right here. And keep in mind, part of the reason why some of you guys think you're victims is because you will see a quote like this with a white face attached to it and automatically, oh, but he white. But if we're going to sit here and say that they have the information and they have the privilege, then why are we not listening to what they say? Why are we not taking what they say? Why are we shunning the information like this, guys? Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you do not control what you think, you can't control what you do. And this is a fact right here, guys. Fact. Great quote right here. Let's read that again. Self discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you do not control what you think, you cannot control what you do. And I tell you this all of the time over here. What we talk about keeping that subconscious mind clear. If you keep the slavery and victim in that subconscious mind, then that's what you're going to manifest, guys. That is your Holy Spirit. Your subconscious mind is your Holy Spirit. And I don't care if you religious or anything. We don't complicate common sense over here. It is what it is. The truth is what it is. All right, guys. Magnificent quote. Magnificent quote. And that ties in right with this one right here. A lot of you guys is feeling like victims because you so far removed from your spiritual guidance, your spiritual father. That's why you're feeling like a victim. But those of us that's connected and in tune with our Holy Spirit, we ain't feeling like no victim. So don't envy us. Oh yeah, don't envy us. Psalms 103:6. The Lord works righteousness and justice for all who are oppressed. So if you feeling oppressed, sir, man, go to your father. Period. That's why you're feeling oppressed, because you refuse to go to your spiritual side. You refuse to believe. You refuse to have that faith in your creator, in your father. No, you want to follow this worldly nonsense. You want to follow the mainstream media and what feels good. Well, when you done feeling good, now you are a victim. You see how that works? You see how that works? Stop doing that. I mean, we don't believe you. You need more people. We are not victims, guys. We are not victims. Those of you that like the shirt, guys, those of you that's liking the shirt right now, I don't know, man. Yo, it's my creation, but it's y'all idea, man. Y'all told me to put it on the shirt. You know what I mean? So y'all got to email me at goodmoneygus gmail.com. You know what I mean? Goodmoneygus gmail.com. Email me. We set something up. We go 50-50. You know what I mean? My creation, y'all idea. I told y'all back when we started it, this was gonna be a total team effort. I'm just a messenger. I'm here to deliver the news with no gray area. You know what I mean? With no gray area. So y'all let me know what y'all want to do. You know what I mean? Y'all let me know what y'all want to do. But I can get it I can get it mass produced. And then, you know what I mean, we'll talk about what we're gonna do as far as, you know what I mean, partnerships and shit like that. So just hit me up, reach out. All right, guys, let's get on into this content right here. Because we got our girl Viola Davis. Viola Davis, she gonna speak for the females. And this is gonna expose how desperate we have become in the black community, you know what I mean? To where we'll let somebody paint our narrative, paint a picture of us just because it feels good to one particular group. You know what I mean? They done divided and conquered us all. They done played us between the men on women, the black on white. You know what I mean? Every time you look around, it's us. Pick a side. You have to pick a side. And it's a side that know what's right. But because they're catering and pandering to that particular side, they don't give a damn. It don't matter about it. It don't matter about what's right when they getting catered to. And each victim party take a turn. Each little victim group in our society take a turn. But you know who don't get a turn? The conservative female that don't want to take her clothes off, and the alpha male man, the sigma man, that we just want to work, bro. We not with the bullshit. We just want to work. We want to put our head down, work. You know what I mean? Keep the dumb shit away from it. We don't have nothing. You know what I mean? We are the real victims to this chaos. You know what I mean? But the other ones, they make themselves victims so that they can get the participation award. And then they run their mouth like if they really victims. So let's get into this, yo. Let's listen to this stupidity. Fair use, fair use.
Don't come see it, then you're sending a message that black women cannot lead the box office globally. They
So now, if you don't come see this movie, this whole lie of a movie, this movie which depicts women in a masculine role, which God ain't create those type women. You know what I mean? And when you look at the history, which we're gonna go down the history of this whole tribe and this whole movie, we're gonna break it down to the core today, guys, so you can see why no woman should have went to that box office celebrating that bullshit. You know what I mean? But of course, a victim will go because they need the dopamine hit to make them feel like woman empowerment. When women, you can empower yourself. Stop waiting and looking for people to tell you you beautiful. Stop waiting and looking for people to tell you you great, and get up and be great. What the fuck wrong with us? What the fuck is wrong with us? And the men do it too.
that you are supporting that narrative.
After putting out the call last week at the Toronto International Film Festival, Any Talk, Viola Davis is celebrating that people showed up to see The Woman King this past weekend, writing on Instagram, "Thank you all for making The Woman King the #1 movie in America." But now Viola, who is also a producer on the movie, is having to answer the call to boycott The Woman King on Twitter because of historical inaccuracies. Speaking with Variety yesterday, Viola starts by saying, "You're not going to win an argument on Twitter. We entered the story where the kingdom was in flux, at a crossroads. They were looking to find some way to keep their civilization and kingdom alive. It wasn't until the late 1800s that they were decimated. Most of the story is fictionalized. It has to be." Another producer and Viola's husband, Julius Tenen, says
We live in a society today where it don't matter. It don't matter what's fake. Fake is now become the new real. I just told you, people is good. People will let you create a fake story if it feel good. It ain't got to be about history no more. Salute. Welcome back to class, girl. J. Lynn Breeze. How you doing, yo? We was all worried about you. Ain't see you in a minute. But salute and welcome back to class, girl.
Woman King is edutainment, explaining its history, but we have to take license. We have to entertain people. If we just told a history lesson, which we very well could have, that would be a documentary. Unfortunately, people wouldn't be in the theaters doing the same thing we saw this weekend. If people want to learn more, they can investigate more. Viola says what's more important than analyzing the historical accuracy of the film is analyzing the reaction it's getting from Black women. People are really being emotionally shifted. I saw a TikTok video today of women in a bathroom of an AMC theater. I don't think they knew each other. They were all chanting and ruminating. That cannot be quantified by words. It's an undeniable, powerful story.
Look how they got all of them. I ain't seen not one healthy female. You know what I mean? I ain't seen not one healthy weighted female. But this is what happened. This is how females are celebrate. Females make something go viral if it's false but feel good. You know what I mean? And they are the majority, guys. This is why we say they are controlling Black culture. They are controlling what go on in the Black community. You know what I mean? So when we reap the consequences of what they have created, you know what I mean? We owe it to them. And I'm not just talking about man versus woman. I'm talking about for the woman that's conservative minded too. You have what they do, what they say, what they create. You know what I mean? What mainstream media allow them to create, because they are the majority, mind you. It affects everybody, not just men.
We're in an industry that doesn't see the power Black women have at the global box office.
Woman King, baby.
I've said it before and I said it again. It's absolutely appropriate to challenge a film's historical accuracy or be critical of the way it presents its story. But is a boycott the right answer? We went through this last year with In the Heights. Although the ensemble featured people with darker skin tones, a boycott was called for because the 6 to 7 principal characters were played by lighter-skinned Afro-Latino actors. That movie bombed and probably knocked Lin-Manuel Miranda out of some studio executive rooms where it happens. A few months later, a boycott was called for against The Harder They Fall on Netflix, one of the first Westerns ever to feature a principal all-Black cast. The outcry was over Zazie Beetz playing Stagecoach Mary, who in reality was of darker skin tone and heavier frame. Obviously, Netflix doesn't release numbers, so we don't know if the boycott affected viewership, but the film was not a factor in award season at all, and it should have been. It was fantastic, and so was In the Heights. So I'll repeat what I've said before, that I think these boycotts ultimately tell major studios that you know what, we tried to do stories that were more diverse or focusing on minorities, and we just got hit with like these boycotts and backlash. So let's just go back to doing stories that focus on white people. Like they're not nearly as critical.
A machine called Hollywood is interested in green. It just is.
So I'll repeat, being critical of how a film presents its story is absolutely appropriate.
Now, you know, Hollywood is interested in green, but because you're interested in green and you can get a piece, you'll let them create a narrative that is untrue. You see how greedy people is, and you see black folks, how we just do it to ourselves all the time. We do it to ourselves. And we're going to get to this. We're going to get to the real fabric and cloth of us doing it to ourselves. Because this movie exposes that. Yeah, when you do the history and you look deep within this movie and where they got the idea and they got the story from, the Dihani, the Diomi tribe, we're going to get into that, guys.
I just don't think boycott is the right answer to that historical accuracy or how they present their story. I think creating a conversation that is going to cause those artists who were on that project to be better in the future is a much more appropriate way to approach things. Because as Viola said, these one step forward movies could ultimately lead to two steps back.
It will just be a moment if people don't come see the movie.
What do you think of the Boycott the Woman King movement on Twitter and the film's initial success at the box office this weekend?
I think the joint is crazy, and I think that it was unnecessary, and it was a money grab, a huge money grab, and fake is now the new real. Fake is now the new real. But for my masculine females that want to know how to stop being so masculine, let's get into this. This is why this independent woman shit, it's nonsense, ladies. It's nonsense. You don't need nobody to empower you. You don't need nobody to empower you.
You think of something strong, you do not think of coming to the aid of it. So when we are looked at and walk around as strong, what we're putting out is, I do not need assistance. I don't need your help. So anytime a man says, oh, I love it, you're so strong, I said, no, I'm not strong. I'm resilient. I'm not independent. I'm interdependent. Because nobody ever comes to the aid of the strong person. So when I'm around men, my wrists are broke. Please do not address me as a strong, independent Black woman. It's not a compliment. I never hear a man that is raising children alone say, I'm mom and dad. He never becomes overly feminine because he's raising children. But we as women become overly masculine because we are raising children, because I'm mom and dad and I got to do all these things, right? And now I put extra stuff on me. And then I say, ain't nobody helping me. Well, nobody told you to do that. There is help available, all because I was trying to overcompensate for what he wasn't doing. I didn't have to be mom and dad. Now they got Mr. Chris and Mr. Eric over here. And I took them to be a part of different organizations, because when you think of something strong, you do not think of coming to the aid of it. So when we are looked at and walk around as strong, what we're putting out is, I do not need assistance. I don't need your help. So anytime a man says, oh, I love it, you're so strong, I said, no, I'm not strong. I'm resilient. I'm not independent. I'm interdependent. Because nobody ever comes to the aid of the strong person. So when I'm around men, my wrists are broke. Please do not address me.
And that was a nice, I like the way she put that. That was very well put. And it's a whole fact, ladies. Stop looking to be inspired when you can inspire yourself. The war and the battle will always be you versus you. Ladies, it's always going to be you versus you. You know what I mean? You got to understand. A slave is one who waits for someone to come and free him. Yeah, I said it. Don't complicate the common sense either. I know how Black folks are. A slave is one who waits for someone to come and free him. You feel me? Stop waiting and looking for people to give you something or do something for you when you can do it yourself. Guys, we are not victims, yo. Especially my ladies. Way too often, way too much, y'all sit there and wait for your Prince Charming. Y'all wait for the knight in shining armor. You know what I mean? Y'all need society to tell y'all beautiful. You need society to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, cut it out. Do it. Get up. Do it your own. Do it your own. We are not victims. We are not victims, bro. let's get into the next piece of content right here, guys. Salute, guys. Salute to all that's coming over. Hit that like button on the way in, and keep in mind you can hit the dislike button on the way out. You know what I mean? If you don't like to take in new information, go on now.
The Woman King, the brainchild of social justice activist, producer, and former actress Maria Bello and Dana Stevens, is
All right, clearly the brainchild of these two white breads, you know what I mean? Of our two white breads. How the fuck can this be your brainchild? How the fuck can this, how? Explain to me. So, again, we have gotten this desperate that we allow somebody from another culture, somebody with their own culture, to create our culture, narratives in our culture, just because it makes us feel good, because they're going to promote the feminist shit in our women. So they're going to take our sisters now and get them this feminist character and have our sisters all hype and keep separating them. They cause a separation from the man, cause a separation from the protection. Incredible. But this lady just said, all women, you ain't a woman if you don't go to the movies and see this movie. You ain't a black woman. But a white woman made the movie and got the black women. You see how they use us? They do it to us all the time.
in theaters. Sony, who greenlit the movie in 2020, surely thought they must have had a movie that was with the times and would resonate with audiences everywhere, making it the next Black Panther at the box office. Instead, its opening weekend is marred by the hashtag #BoycottWomanKing trending, and the ones driving that hashtag hail from the Black community. In this editorial, I will begin with exploring what is so bad about the Woman King, the measures the studio have gone through to protect it, and what lessons should be learned from this. Now, full disclosure, this is a part of history that, like most, I am not too familiar with. My fellow YouTuber and good friend Mr. H Reviews has done his research on the matter though. So this first came on my radar through his video on the topic, and our subsequent discussion on it, both of which you will find linked in the description. Since then, I have done some reading on the topic myself, and while I by no means can claim any kind of expertise on the topic, it is pretty clear, even from a superficial reading, that the Dahomey were villains. To the point where one can assign terms like good or evil, they were, without a doubt, and without much grey area, sheer evil. They weren't merely slavers, they were practically perpetrators of genocide. History versus Hollywood writes, and I warn that this is a graphic account. The kingdom of Dahomey was a bloodthirsty society bent on conquest. It was customary for the Dahomey to return home with the rotting heads and genitals of those they killed in battle. They conquered neighboring Africa.
You mean to tell me this victim shit of women being oppressed? It really is bullshit, because women know what it is to be the conquerors too. So they know what it is to be the conquerors. They know what it is to be oppressed. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? What that saying? That sounds similar to this in my Bible right here. Romans 3:23. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. So we all know what time it is, right? We all was victims. We all are in the same boat. So why must you be the worst victim? Why you gotta portray as the victim of victims? No, sis. So that's what this movie exposed. This movie exposed that women were at the head of slavery. They had more slaves than a little bit at a point in the beginning. In the beginning. That's what it shows.
African states and took their citizens as slaves, selling many in the Atlantic slave trade in exchange for items like rifles, tobacco, and alcohol. Many of the slaves they sold ended up in America. They also kept some slaves for themselves to work on.
Did you hear that? Many of the slaves they sold ended up in America. So you mean to tell me y'all niggas that be crying around here talking about what my ancestors were slaves, your white man got them from somebody. You know what I mean? They got them from your great grandmother. How about that? So we can put an end to that slavery bullshit. We can put an end to that slavery shit that limits your thinking and stagnates you and keep you poor. That's why you poor, because it's what you intake in your mind. You know what I mean? It's what you have been taught and what you have grown to believe is true when it's not true. It's cap and crab leg, guys. It's cap and crab leg. Let's play that again for you dumb niggas in the back that like to be the victim. You know what I mean? So your great grandmother sold your mother to the white man. And this is why I always tell you, you give all this smoke to everybody else but your mother. But your hell of a mother. This is why I put the microscope on hell of a mothers, because I know what time it is, bro. That's the only person limited you. If she had you, whether she had you and didn't teach you up, you know what I mean? And this is not a blame your mother shit, because we are responsible to change the laws of our own mind at some point. But again, the white man ain't do it to you. Your own people did it to you. You know what I mean? The white man just ahead right now because of the fact that your own people did it to you. So they're ahead right now. And if you was ahead, nigga, you be moving just like how they moving. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Because when you get ahead of your own brother, you move like how they do on you now. So we are not victims. Stop it. Stop it.
Items like rifles, tobacco, and alcohol. Many of the slaves they sold ended up in America. They also kept some slaves for themselves to work on royal plantations. The business of slavery is what brought the Dahomey most of its wealth. For them, it very much came down to either enslave others or become enslaved yourself. The women warriors, the Agoji, fought in slave raids along with the male fighters. There are accounts of the Dahomey warriors conducting slave raids on villages where they cut the heads off of the elderly and ripped the bottom jaw bones of others. During the raids, they'd burn the villages to the ground. Those whom they let live, including the children, were taken captive and sold as slaves. The movie strategically downplays this part of the Dahomey's history so as not to complicate the story with the truth. Each year in Dahomey, roughly 500 slaves and criminals were mass executed in large-scale human sacrifices during the religious ceremonies.
Now, why would you leave that biggest part out of the movie if you're trying to keep it real with the women? You're trying to teach women their history. You're trying to promote women having this lustrous history. Why not teach them the real deal? Because now they're going to go off and believe this bullshit. Now they're going to go off and believe this bullshit and stop building for themselves and end up waiting for y'all to throw them another bone of feel-good bullshit. Is this why our sisters sitting around here not moving, relying on niggas and relying on government zaddy? Some sad shit going on, man. Sad shit. But again, we are not victims, bro. We did it to ourselves. Ain't hear nothing about the white man yet. But I heard slavery. I hear slaves. I hear beheadings. I hear shit, the same shit that I hear that went on in American slavery history. You mean to tell me in the very beginning, this is what the fuck our family was doing? This is what brothers was doing to brothers back in Africa? And we glorify Africa like if that's some motherfucking homeland, that's the motherland. I don't. You see that? I knew something was about that. I knew anything that's named after the mother, I'm not with, yo. Hell of a motherland. I'm not with it. I'm not with it, yo. I am not with it.
Of a festival known as the annual customs of Dahomey. Most were sacrificed by way of decapitation, a method of killing widely used by the Dahomeyan kings. The 1727 annual customs of the Dahomey ceremony reportedly saw as many as 4,000 people sacrificed. Also, when the Europeans banned slavery, the Dahomey kept at it. John Boyega's character, King Giso, is a real historian.
All right. Translation. So the Europeans, white man, banned slavery. The Dahomeys kept it going. The blacks, the African Americans kept it going. The Africans kept it going. You hear that, right? So we know our history. so we can stop, you know what I mean, stagnating our thoughts and our thinking with, oh, man, we were slaves, so we just hold back our oppressor. We live with our oppressor, which is true. But that should not keep you from moving forward.
Story character. But Viola Davis' character, Naniska, who demands the Dahomey stop slavery, is entirely fictional, even though there are historic references to a teenager girl of that name. Only she didn't demand slaves be freed so much as she beheaded them. In other words, the movie The Woman King takes some extreme liberties. Of course, that is nothing new. Movies like 300, The Patriot, and U-571, to mention but a few out of many, have changed some events or ignored some context for the purpose of furthering a narrative. But the liberties taken by The Woman King go beyond that, and well into overt falsification of history territory. It's one thing when a Marvel movie does it, or a genre flick like The Mummy, because they never claimed to be historically accurate in the first place, or based on real events. The Woman King does both. That is the key difference here. If the producers were hoping for another Black Panther, and they were, they can't be pleased with the response. The Rap wrote, "Who is driving the hashtag boycott Woman King trend on social media in protest of the Viola Davis starring historical epic that hit theaters today? Perhaps surprisingly, it's not the same people who dropped racist memes in reaction to the first look at Halle Bailey in Disney's live-action The Little Mermaid trailer. Critics don't have an issue with Davis playing a strong black leader in The Woman King, but are alarmed that the history of the Dahomey tribe, who sold other Africans into slavery, has been whitewashed. Time to boycott the Woman King movie. The film is about the Dahomey and Benin that traded slaves into the transatlantic. This may be the most offensive film to Black Americans in 40-50 years, wrote Los Angeles.
That's a fact. It's mad offensive, but because it panders to the woman, and I told you who we put as number one, as God, the new God in our community. You know what I mean? No, they fighting for it. They fighting for it because you see where we have a conflict of interest right now. You know what I mean, we want to run with this slavery shit, but we also want to empower the woman. We want to falsely empower women. But we also want to run with the slavery shit because that creates our victim mindset, and that's our excuse, you know what I mean, to be a failure or to stop trying. It's too hard. It's too hard. I told y'all about that shit. Stop doing that.
Attorney and producer Antonio Moore. Let's be honest, folks. It's a movie about an African tribe famous for selling slaves to Europeans that was made into a female empowerment story by two white women writers. You don't have to be very woke to see the problem here, wrote one Twitter user. The challenge for Sony here is that there really hasn't been any backlash to the movie to speak of at all. And what there is comes from the Black community and is based on actual written history. So the only real response has been, see this movie or you'll support the narrative that Black women cannot lead the box office globally. The tragedy here is that if you ignore the falsifying of history, The Woman King is by all accounts a very good movie. It tells an African story, and there should be more movies like that. There are countless African stories based on real history as well as myth and legend, spanning the width of the continent, dating back thousands upon thousands of years. And these stories should be told and presented to a wider audience, so that is not the issue. The issue here is that to lead what could and should be a charge, Sony chose to back two white social justice activists in telling a lie and a falsification of history. They didn't tell an African story. They told a story that fits their revisionist and subversive agenda. That,
which is feminism, which is empower the woman, You know what I mean? Confuse the woman, get them to the point where they're so confused, and we know who is the author of confusion. We know who the author of confusion is, but get the woman so confused that they have no choice but to damage themselves. And that's what's going on right now. Our woman is mentally going through it, yo. Even the good ones, y'all. No cap. No cap. No cap. Women go through the most because of the mental strain that a woman go through in today's society, where they're fighting their natural biology against what this dumbass mainstream media and news is telling them is correct. Then you got the church mixing in that bullshit. You know what I mean? It's relentless. It's a relentless attack on the female mind, and it's sad. And look, this the art. Look, great shot. This is what's on the female mind, the black woman's mind right here. They try to look like these women. You know what I mean? They try to live up to their stories that they paint for these women, because these women sat there and wrote a fantasy. They did not write the history of this movie at all. They sat there and wrote a fucking fantasy, and that ties into what we said in our beginning, in our intro. And this is why we fail, and this is why we poor, because we sit here and train our kids up to some American fantasy shit, and when they go outside, it ain't an American fantasy outside. You know what I mean? And this is where it all ties back to when I say you have to learn how to learn. You have to reteach yourself, guys. You have to learn how to learn. You have to be able to take in new information. You can't be stubborn. You can't take this know-it-all approach shit that most of the black folks in our community do. You can't tell a nigga nothing, bro. Nothing. You know what I mean? Crazy, guys. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never being able to live. And that's a fact, guys. Half of y'all not living. I tell y'all that. Majority of us is surviving. That's not living, guys. Live, yo. Live. Change the laws of your mind. Sacrifice them old beliefs, that old ideology, and get your new one. Nothing gonna happen until you sacrifice the old. That's what it come down to, guys. Jesus said, John 14:6, Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. It's serious, guys. None of us is victims. You're a victim because you ain't trying to go through the Father. You know what I mean? Read that again. Jesus said to him, I am the way. I am the way and the truth. The what? Not the lie, not the crab leg, not the feel good. The truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me, guys. Keep in mind, guys, I'm not religious. I'm just real religious, all right? God and religion, two different things. Don't be a dummy, all right? Don't be a dummy.
Is the issue here. Sony got played and made the wrong movie. One can only hope that they and everyone else will recognize it, and not let that deter them from telling actual African stories that should be told in the future. Let me know your thoughts on this.
Stories. Tell us some white stories. How about that? Tell us some European stories, yo. We want to know about the European stories. I like to hear about them. You don't got to tell us no African stories. You're not African. You know what I mean? It's sad, yo. Sad shit, B. Sad, pitiful shit. But let's get on into this. Let's go and get into let's get into the history of the Dahami tribe, the Dahami tribe. That's the African tribe that they patterned this movie after. But they knew they had to lie and eat crab legs because they couldn't tell the whole story, because it exposed the whole fact of women being so oppressed in America. You know what I mean? Let's get it.
I have to be honest. As a descendant of Afro-descendant people, the kingdom of Dahomey never really sat well with me. Upon first glance, Dahomey just looked like a horror film to me, with depictions of their kings atop thrones with skulls below them, and the countless beheadings of Africans, men and women, seemingly for no other reason but projection of power. But as I forced myself to give it another look, I gotta say,
Being greedy. So you mean it was Sodom and Gomorrah back in Africa too? Yes, sir. It was Sodom and Gomorrah amongst us in Africa too. Greedy, greedy, consumerism always ruled.
Dahomey has to be one of the most unique African kingdoms in West Africa, and I can't help but remain fascinated by them. Infographics summarizing African history. All links to Patreon, Afrographics, and home team merchandise are in the description box below. To begin, Dahomey to some degree hasn't exactly gotten the fairest shake. Aside from the typical European degradation of Africans, Dahomey does deserve some criticism, especially from the African diaspora for their aggressive participation in the Atlantic slave trade. Here's the thing with Dahomey. I wouldn't say they were drastically different from any other African group around. In fact, they literally did the same exact thing other Africans were doing in other regions. But what makes Dahomey
So again, guys, we all had a turn. We all had slaves. We all liked it. We all ate off of it. We all thrived off of it. All right. So stop running with this black people shit, yo. All right. We is a valuable. We are the prize. Fuck wrong with y'all. We the prize. Y'all sit here and mope around with this slavery shit. Is you dumb?
unique is that they simply took it to the next level. Their participation in the slave trade and interaction with being enslaved themselves nearly in totality defined the direction of their civilization. Now, I know some in the diaspora would be vehemently opposed to me saying that, but I think we have to be honest. Dahomey was a nation formed from the oppression of the Yoruba peoples. And because of this oppression and enslavement, they said never again. Thus, they became some of the most fierce people in the region. Let's start from the beginning. Dahomey was a state in West Africa in the region of modern-day Benin that was founded by the ruling dynasty of the Fan or Aja peoples during the 17th century. The kingdom of Dahomey began as a tributary state to the Yoruba kingdom of Oyo, and they certainly did not appreciate how they were being treated by the Yoruba. Dahomey eventually broke away from Oyo and for the most part vowed to take revenge on the Yoruba, especially those located in modern-day Benin. Dahomey came to be the most efficient African state in the region, and they set out to conquer the stateless and leaderless people who lived in the nearby plateau. Dahomey became a highly centralized state with a very well-organized and disciplined military machine. All this greatness was created to never be under the yoke of Oyo again. In other words, Dahomey was founded with a clear purpose, to become so powerful that they would never be enslaved again. And they committed a number of, let's just say, ambitious things to ensure this was the case. By the late 17th century, Dahomey was in command of the coastal hinterland, which it raided at will to collect slaves. While the power of Europeans was becoming greater along the coast, other Aja kingdoms were going in decline as they refused to trade with them. Dahomey, power-hungry as they were, saw this as an opportunity to become the primary power in the region. Also, their eagerness to trade with Europeans was kind of like sending a nasty letter to Oyo, if you catch my drift. To make things simple, the Dahomeyans were low-key the Zulus of West Africa.
So they forced the motherfucking Europeans, the Americans and the Europeans to buy their slaves. They forced them. They strong armed them. You heard it. They strong armed they way.
Africa, as their rulers usually only rose to power via courage in battle and success in war. In other words, you had to show and prove yourself before you can rule Dahomey. Now, this is not at all to say that other nations in Africa did not do this, but I'm simply saying that this was the very fabric of Dahomeyan statehood and advancement. In a traditional sense, African kings who conquered other regions for the most part allowed self-governance, but not Dahomey. Neither vassal kings nor separate laws were recognized. The king and his council of advisors dominated hereditary aristocrats. The primary thing that draws our attention to Dahomey and the thing that has given them world fame was the power of women in that kingdom. The power that women exhibited in Dahomey was unique in all of West Africa. Female officials across
And that's what attracted them to wanting to tell this story, guys. That's what attracted them to wanting to tell this story because they know what they doing over here in America. You know what I mean? They sitting here trying to empower the woman, forcefully empower the woman so they could kill themselves and die alone with no protection. That's what they doing. So they say, oh, let's do this. Let's reenact this story. Woman empowerment. Woman empowerment.
Dahomey, known as Inye, served in each province as the king's special envoys. They inspected male officials' work and reported any irregularities directly to the king. In other words, if you were a king and your region was conquered by Dahomey, you more than likely had to answer to a woman concerning your dealings from time to time. This is incredibly unique to West African history because it speaks to the very origin of the Dahomean state. Dahomey was a state fashioned in crisis and warfare, and so every able-bodied soul was recruited to participate in the affairs of the state, no matter the gender. This is what draws our fascination to Dahomey in the Western world, because this was so rare. If it wasn't for Dahomey, Black Panther in its most exhilarating form would not exist, because it was the state of Dahomey that developed a special class of fierce female warriors called the Mino, literally meaning our mothers. To be honest, despite my weird relationship with Dahomey,
That's very interesting. Our mothers. I just said something about our mothers, right? Yeah.
Mino, literally meaning our mothers. To be honest, despite my weird relationship with Dahomey, I can't resist my fascination with the Mino. Not only were these women recruited for warfare, but some of them even joined the army simply to protect their children from the Yoruba slave trading cavalry of Oyo. This only further proves my point that Dahomey was the extreme resistance and response to oppression in that region. In a world where women are usually subservient or deferential to men, this marked an extraordinary development in human history. The British explorer Sir Richard Burton called these women warriors Amazons, which created the legend we know so well today, and the theme in Black Panther that we simply can't resist. The civil service of Dahomey planned and managed the economy for the king. Farm production allowed for the support of all royalty, the elite, the urban craft population, the army, and a surplus cash crop for sale. During crop shortages, the government forced specific regions to produce more of it. The state collected income tax, custom duties, and road tolls to generate operating revenue, and this revenue, together with guns and ammunition, became the foundation for Dahomean power, and more importantly, their freedom. Because without establishing this, the Dahomeyans would simply become victims of a neighboring kingdom's slave raids. Before their independence, Oyo frequently raided Dahomey and forced the Dahomeyans to pay the Yoruba tribute in the form of an increased but tragic flow of slaves. But this is where my relationship with Dahomey becomes very estranged. Now, most African kings participated heavily in the slave trade, but it would seem as though Dahomey mastered it. In one vein, I sympathize with the collective plight of the Dahomean state because of three things. Number one, the Dahomeyans had to constantly give the state of Oyo slaves as tribute under their dominance. Number two, in order to gain weapons to compete with other kingdoms around them, they also had to supply the Europeans with slaves. And number three, in order to gain access to horses, they had to give the Hausa in northern Nigeria slaves. So literally, in nearly all areas of their national advancement, in order to exist and remain relevant, they had to be aggressive in the slave trade. Even though that's tough, the Dahomeyans embraced it to its fullest. Their ultimate goal was power and territorial expansion. Now, despite this horror, we still had to put it in its proper perspective. We often don't like to hear it, but for those Africans, the overwhelming majority of them thought of slavery completely different from how we do today. Slavery, for the most part, for them, was equivalent to what we know as European serfdom in their minds. Tradition demanded the adoption of loyal slaves into master's family, and it certainly was not uncommon to reward a former slave of land and freedom following the master's death. Descendants of slaves would even assimilate into society as members of one social class or another. Now, that's certainly not to say that there weren't many slaves who were mistreated, but I'm trying to put it all in a context that simply cannot be ignored if we are to advance proper historical perspectives. Because oftentimes, Dayomans are portrayed as bloodthirsty savages, especially because of their mass killings. And this is something I struggle to understand, something that turned me off to Dayomi completely. I can understand the occasional brutality of a state that takes over a region, but for the life of me, I could not understand Dayomi and their harsh treatment of other human beings for no apparent reason. But upon closer examination, the mass killing
It's crazy how he's just telling us this is the history, this is the black culture, this is the history, and this is the vibe and the wave to this day. We are savages, and we've been savages. So we can stop blaming it on the white man and fix our shit, bro. We were savages to each other. Did you not hear how this man just described the history of this African tribe that we glorified in this movie, The Woman King? And then we get over here in America and act like this mindset and this vibe was just instilled on us through years of being slave to the white man. Fuck out of here, bro. Miss me with the bullshit. Fix yourself, yo. Fix yourself, yo. Look in the mirror and fix yourself, king, queen.
killings of the Dayomi state surprisingly has an explanation. Slavery was pivotal to their survival, as mentioned before, whether we like it or not. It advanced their economy and it protected their very existence. The mass killings has
All right. It's so many different forms of slavery. It's correct. So many different forms of slavery. But the answer is don't put yourself in it mentally. Remove yourself from it mentally and you free. Period. Period. That's it. There's all kinds of forms of slavery. There's still slavery to this day. People put themselves in big debt trying to keep up. We buy from the people that we say we hate with money we don't have to impress people we don't even know in life. That's debt. That's slavery. You not no victim. You did that. You purchased that without that money, without having that bread. You not no victim now because another white person had the education to know how to pimp the credit system and they're not in debt. So they move around this motherfucker free. They get away with murder because they could throw the money at it. That's them. You got to get to the education and free your mind.
everything to do with the survival of their state when you put it in context. Here's how the horrific mass killings started in Dayomi. Dayomi gathered together large numbers of slaves at special coastal Balkan stations. Here, they waited for European slave ships that visited every month or so.
So you mean to tell me my whole life being a black man, they told me that these white folks ran down on Africa, grabbing motherfuckers up, pulling them on a boat, and shipped us back over here, Christopher Columbus style. You know what I mean? You mean to tell me that ain't happened like that? You mean to tell me Christopher Columbus pulled up to Africa, waited for an African man, for our brother, for our ancestors to come pull up at that border with a group of us to sell us? Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 Let's get rid of the narrative, yo. Let's not run with the slavery narrative, because if we gonna run with that narrative, then we gotta run with it the right way. We gotta tell the truth now. We gotta tell the whole truth. I gotta play that back.
Naomi gathered together large numbers of slaves at special coastal Balkan stations. Here, they waited for European slave ships that visited every month or so. European slave traders preferred to buy entire shiploads of slaves rather than buy slaves in lots from different ports. Europeans tried to give Daoman kings sufficient time to collect an entire shipload of slaves before actually coming to the port. Oftentimes, Europeans miscalculated how long it would take Daomans to gather a shipload of slaves. If European slave traders waited too long, then slaves at coastal Balkan stations exhausted local food supplies, and thus Daoman kings devised massive ritual murders rather than watch slaves die of starvation. The kings unfortunately viewed these killings as humanitarian, and to justify these acts to their people, they claimed that such rituals were required to guarantee their continued strength by
Wow, yo. Wow. Crazy. Crazy. See what I mean? That's why I say don't trust these black gatekeepers, bro. Be careful who you attach yourself to, because they mindset may be all the foolishness. And the foolishness is contagious, bro. The victim mindset is contagious, y'all. So watch these niggas, bro. Victims are contagious. Victims are convincing. Victims are not able to reason. Victims are the best recruiters now, because misery need company. And that's the cousin of poverty. Victims do well on social media. You know, some of these the biggest panels and the biggest channels have the biggest victim as the host. They make themselves the biggest victim. And you know, we all cheered and we all designed to root. We only root for the victim. A nigga with my swag, my arrogance, my charisma, we hate him. We hate him. He tell the truth too much. He don't say what we want him to say. You know what I mean? So this is why they celebrate the victims. This is why the big channels, victim niggas. Niggas is victims. Big beta males, big time beta males. Victims are not happy until they convert you, until they make you a victim and get you believing the shit that they believed for so long. Like, oh, we slaves because we oppressed. Yeah, the white man. Fuck out of here, bro. I told y'all about any nigga come at you with that lingo, bro. Any nigga come at you with that lingo, bro. If you not gonna slap him in his mouth, get away from him. Get away from him. Disgusting.
Brutality and courage to rule. In time, this became part of their tradition. On several occasions, European slave traders pulled into port to buy slaves from the Daomans, but soon witnessed to their horror the bloody ritual murders.
So you mean to tell me we whipped on each other in front of, we let the white man see us brutally beat the our own people. So now we know where the white man got the idea to take us on over to America and slash us and bash us. So when you tell this slavery story to the next person, when you jump on your panel or when you jump in a conversation, debate, or whatever have you made, and you start running your mouth about the white man and this slavery shit, you make sure you tell the whole story, bro. You make sure you tell the whole story. Because if you running into a Goodbread and you telling this whole story, this slavery story, and you don't mention the fact that we taught these niggas how to do us, how they do us, then we already know we see a bitch and we know a bitch when we see one.
You dirty bitch! Look what you've done to my peonies!
They're marigolds!
Good God, I think she's right. They are marigolds.
I may not know my flowers, but I know a bitch when I see one!
Not realizing that their demand for slaves helped to cause this. Now, if we can bear to squint our eyes and hold our hearts to look past the atrocities of Daomi, we would see it for what it is. One big, massive African irony. Because for Daomi, the need for defense against nearby slave-raiding states and the need to collaborate with Europeans and other Africans to guarantee the safety of their children caused them to perpetuate the very thing they were trying to avoid. Its armies pushed out in all directions, trying to create buffer zones to safeguard their existence. I have no interest in providing any excuse for Daomi's willing participation in this horrifying history.
Don't, bro, because we removed the gray area. And my mama black. And my mama didn't know this. My mama still thinking Christopher Columbus came and snatched her mama, and put her on the boat. Wait till I tell my mama this shit. Yeah.
But as I take a step back, I can't help but understand that the history of Dahomey is a history of an extreme reaction to a chaotic environment. Whereas I had no sympathy for the formation of their state, I find myself willing to give an ear to their plight. But that's just me. Well, I'm all out, guys. Please let me know what your thoughts are concerning Dahomey and whether or not it's worthy of a second look or a new perspective.
That's a fact, guys. That's a fact, guys. Right now is the time where I need you guys to share this live on all your social media platforms and find 2 or 3 people in your contacts that got critical thinking skills and share it to them in your phone contact, guys. All right. While y'all do that, I'll play a little commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get back into it.
You still want to hear what's happening with the ops? I don't. You niggas still talking about the ops? I feel like if you 28 or older, you shouldn't have no fucking ops. You should be trying to get to a fucking bag or something. You should be worrying about bettering your life. You know what I'm saying? If you still got an op at 28, 30 years old, you moving backwards. I don't understand why a nigga a op.
All right, guys, we back. Now that we got that over, we got the woman king out the way. We gonna tie in this victim mindset, the victim mentality, because the victim mentality is what's holding a lot of us black folks back. It's what's holding a lot of the white folks back. Remember, guys, this is not a color thing, bro. Jesus is not colorful. Jesus, God, whatever God you fuck with, it's not about his color. You know what I mean? Hopefully you didn't pick a God that you think is black or you think is white. I hope that's not why you pick a God. You know what I mean? Because then you a fool. But in any way, in any event, our God, our creator is a spirit. A spirit is clear. All right? It's clear. Dark clear, light clear, it's clear. All right? Only human beings associate themselves, gotta divide the room and pick a side. Only human beings. But our God is clear, and he very clear with what he say and what he teach. All right, and victim mentality is one thing he don't play with, yo. He don't play with, because we not victims. We not victims, bro. He made himself a victim so that we don't have to be victims. All right. This is how we gonna get rid of the victim mindset. This is how we gonna get to the victory, guys. This quote right here, Confucius, guys. By 3 methods, we may learn wisdom. All right. First, by reflection. So we gotta reflect. We gotta look at the land. We gotta survey the laws of our mind. We gotta see what it is we know, what the fuck it is that we doing, what it is. We need to know. We gotta reflect. Now, I mean, this is personal now. Now we're gonna take this part of the live personal, guys. This is the teaching. We went through the entertainment. That was funny. Ha ha he he. Now we taking this personal. All right. Next, guys, is by admission, which is the easiest. You know what I mean? Mind you, reflection is the noblest. You're gonna be that when you reflect, you at your noble state. Second is your admission. That's easy. It's easy to admit where you went wrong. It's easy to admit what you need to do better. That's easy. And if that's hard for you, then you are very damaged and you really need to get to some help. You might forever be a victim. You might die a victim, you know what I mean? And I can't help you if that's the case. Like again, I'm not professional help as far as, you know what I mean, a therapist and therapy, no, psychiatric help. No. Here I am motivational. I am motivation, yo. You know what I mean? I tell you this all the time, guys. I am proof. I'm the truth with proof, guys. I am proof that black men Black men that look like me, that act like me, that talk like me, we're not victims. I'm proof to that. I am not a victim, guys, at all. A victim of my own doing, if that's the case. But I am not a victim. I am proud, free. I am free. I am free, and you can be too, man. It's all mental. All right, admit it. Admit it. Admit that you can be free. That's the easiest part. And third, last but not least, guys, the experience, guys. And the experience is gonna come from you actually putting in the work. You actually putting in the work, and that's gonna be the bitterest. Because while you putting in the work, you're gonna start to witness how you wasted so much time playing the victim. You know what I mean? You wasted so much time playing the victim. Remember, you make yourself a sheep, and the wolves gonna eat you in the society that we in right now, guys. A slave is one who waits for someone to come and free him. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. That's not up for debate. You know what I mean? That's not up for debate, guys. You sit there and wait for somebody to come. Sky Zaddy not coming back. You know what I mean? Your mother not gonna help you. You know what I mean? Your father not gonna help. You is responsible for you, bro. You got to change the laws of your mind. You got to learn how to learn. That's one thing the schools ain't teach us. The schools ain't teach us how to learn. The school taught us how to obey. We got to go back into our mind and change all that. We got to rechange and rethink. You know what I mean, guys? All right, let's hear our sister Candace. You know what I mean? What would a Mr. Goodbread live be without Candace Owens feature? You know what I mean? Let's see what she got to say about the victim mentality. You know she A100. Always welcome here at the School of Common Sense. Take it away, Candace.
Should fawn over you and everything you say should count and should matter. And it's absolute crap. The victim mentality is what's stopping most people from getting from point A to point B.
Victim mentality. I've seen you
Yes.
talk about this.
Yes.
Now give us some background on it, because some English people won't know what you mean.
It's just the oppression Olympics. You know, everybody wants to say I deserve more because I'm more oppressed than you. I might say that I'm more oppressed than you because I'm black, right? And you're white. So instantly I'm more oppressed and I deserve more and my voice should be louder. And then we say, okay, well, you're a male and I'm a woman. So instantly I deserve even more because I'm a woman and you're a male, and women are more oppressed, which is totally a lie. And I should have my voice heard louder. And then you keep going, gay. And they've created all of these little pockets, and you have to figure out who is the most oppressed person. I guess it would be a disabled black female gay person would probably be the most. If you want to win the oppression Olympics, that's it. And everyone should fawn over you, and everything you say should count and should matter. And it's absolute crap. The victim.
And that's a fact. Everybody want their opinion to be heard and their opinion to count. But if you're not putting in the work, then it don't count. Yo, and salute to my guy, the big homie. Happy birthday to CeeLo Myers. Happy birthday, OG. Word, my guy. Big happy birthday from the Good Bread Squad, yo. No doubt, man. Hope you enjoyed your day. You know what I mean? Damn, man. We gonna link. You already know, yo. Harlem stand up. You know what I mean? Word up. Happy birthday, bro. Salute.
Mentality is what's stopping most people from getting from point A to point B.
Victim mentality. I've seen you
Yes.
talk about this.
Yes.
Now give us some background on it, because some English people won't know what you mean.
It's just the oppression Olympics. You know, everybody wants to say I deserve more because I'm more oppressed than you. I might say that I'm more oppressed than you because I'm black, right? And you're white. So instantly I'm more oppressed and I deserve more and my voice should be louder. And then we say, okay, well, you're a male and I'm a woman. So instantly I deserve even more because I'm a woman and you're a male, and women are more oppressed, which is totally a lie. And I should have my voice heard louder. And then you keep going, gay, straight, and they've created all of these little pockets, and you have to figure out who is the most oppressed person. I guess it would be a disabled black female gay person would probably be the most. If you want to win the oppression Olympics, that's it. And everyone should fawn over you, and everything you say should count and should matter. And it's absolute crap. The victim mentality is what's stopping most.
That's well put. And that's a whole fact, guys. No matter if you like it or not, how you want to cut it. You know what I mean? Cut your bullshit out, bro. It's okay to fail. Just try again. Try harder. Use different tools. That's what it be. It be because you're not reaching your goal. You're not reaching your goals. So you just want to give up and run with that's the easy excuse. That's the easiest excuse that we can use as black folks. You know what I mean? To cover up for us not trying hard enough, or just not having the right tools, or just doing the wrong thing. Maybe we're putting all our energy into the wrong shit. And when we need to redirect that, we need to pivot that. Whatever the case may be, the fact that you have the choice and the option to do so, so long as you mentally capable of knowing that it's time to change and switch, makes it very clear that we're not a victim, bro. We're not a victim, bro. We not. We not. If you display any of these characteristics that my girl Love Dorsey about to go over, yo, you need to fix yourself, y'all. You need to fix yourself. Love Dorsey, take it away, man. Do your thing.
So, all right, y'all, this your girl, Bree, that's my home.
And a lot of y'all really don't understand. I'm a female, have, rob Peter to pay Paul or work check to check. Your success financially, even if it's just getting stable to where you don't have to be successful in life, right? And when I say success, let me explain, because everybody idea of success normally be different stuff. But by success, I mean every adult pretty much has some sort of money goals for themselves. Whatever your money goals are, whatever your idea of success financially, even if it's just getting stable to where you don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul or work check to check. Your financial success, and then the overall success that everybody should be after in life, which is happiness with you. Like understanding, regardless of how my bread going, regardless of the problems that life throw at me, I have more good days than I do bad days. I have, more to be thankful for than I do to complain about. This is what I mean by success, right? Mental success, and then some sort of success as far as your stability in your life, right? You can't achieve that shit if you in situations where y'all bickering about just the things that occur from being human beings, like differences of opinion, people just handling situations different because I'm a male and you a female, or I'm a female and you a male, or I'm older and you're younger, or my cultural or ethnic background is this and yours is this. So we view things different based on that. Like if you in a relationship and all y'all do is like fuss, fight about the small shit, you'll never be successful overall. And a lot of y'all really don't understand.
And that's a fact, guys. You will never be able to become what you hate. So when you hate success, when you hate the white man, or you hate oppression, you'll never be able to become, you know what I mean, successful, guys. Because that's success. That's success. You hate white people because they're successful. You hate black people because they're successful. You know what I mean? You hate anything that's positive because you want to be negative. You can't figure out how to get out of the negative. You know what I mean? And that's all mental. That's the slavery. You've locked yourself into mental slavery, yo.
Instead of being real with yourself, that a person cannot give you this fairy tale when they living in a nightmare. Meaning when they're trying to sort out the shit that matter overall, their stability, they basics. Y'all know when I talk about the basics, fucking your transportation, how you feed yourself, your place to live, all the stuff that you need to be able to like get yourself on track as an adult, right? The shit that you need to be, function and be able to even think about self, bettering me, getting some money, like just the stuff that comes before the actual elevation. Like if you in a situation where I can't even focus on that, like, or I can't get that together because another person next to me is trying to make themselves matter in my life more than this stuff, like that's important, the real shit. Like y'all really got to tell yourselves, you crazy. Like you're crazy to think that somebody that's broken, somebody that's trying to find their way, somebody that's trying to sort out their own financial problems or their own demons or their own trauma can get with you and just give you this perfect, like, fairy tale treatment. Do y'all understand?
And that's fact too. And See, she's relating it, this victim mentality, to the relationship aspect of it. And what I want y'all to pull is, I want y'all to pull it from the life aspect, guys. You know what I mean? From the life aspect.
Understand what I'm explaining? And this ain't just females, this dudes too. Like, a lot of y'all just do not realize, if people don't have themselves together, they cannot be shit to you. And then y'all will get.
And it's a fact. When you take in information from people that do not have success, then you're going to just stay operating on stupidity yourself. That's part of learning new information. That's part of taking in new information and learning how to learn. Stop listening to the folks you've been listening to, because obviously they don't know. Because if they knew, how that saying goes, if they knew better, they do better. They ain't doing better than you. So you asking them is askinizing, guys. And that's what's keeping you a victim. And that's how the victim mentality spreads. You know what I mean? So you got everybody, a bunch of failures feeling like victims, and they perpetuate the shit because it make them feel good in the Black community.
With people and ignore all the signs that they need to work on them. Y'all won't give a fuck that the people really need to spend some time building themselves up, and then y'all call yourselves carers of them, or a good person, or I was a real friend of them, or I was.
And that's the problem. Too many people want to help everybody else when they need to help themselves. Why everybody in the Black community think that the other person crazy and never check themselves, never stop to be like, yo, I need to work on myself. I might need some therapy myself. I may need some therapy. I got some traumas. I got some shit I need to get off. You know what I mean? But no, everybody feel like they A100. They're A1 nigga. And the next person is the problem. No. This is why we can't team up to get the fuck out of it, so that we could paint a new narrative. And I mean, this is why we can't paint a new narrative. Because we spend so much time destroying each other, because we trying to be the more victim than the next person. We trying to prove how we are more of a victim than the next person. And none of us is victims.
Loyal, but all y'all be doing is taking y'all emotions and trying to manipulate a bitch into making you matter more than their important shit. Y'all understand what I'm explaining?
Facts. A nigga don't believe what you believe, so you want to manipulate it. Then you start the trolling, rather than to be like, okay, that's what you believe. This is what I believe. You know what I mean? Are you winning with what you believe in? Because I'm winning, or I'm losing. But are you winning with that? If you winning with that, let me adapt some of that. Then we know niggas will be dead losing, dead last, lying and eating crab legs. Talking about, I ain't listening to that. I don't like him. And he got all the right information. Who taught you how to be stupid, yo? Is it the Wula? What they called the mother? What they called the mother in the tribe, in the Dihani tribe? What they called the mother? If that was the one? She taught you how to be a dummy? Yeah.
Somebody say, yeah, but what do you do after you let that person go so they can build their self, and then they start making your life a living hell when it comes to co-parenting because they're mad you left? Okay, let me
explain to that. Sis, this go back to what we just said. You let that person go and they went off, whether they changed the laws of their mind or not, you will sit there like if you ain't have no work to be done on yourself. Who taught you how to be a dummy, sis?
Explain this to y'all, right? Because y'all love to butt. Your happiness is a choice. Peace is a choice. Trust is a choice. Waking up and being okay is a choice, right? I want y'all to just really hear me. The person that typed that, like, just really receive what I'm explaining. Human beings are at their most vulnerable when they wake up in the morning and before they go to sleep at night. These are the parts of your day where you make a decision on how you want to be. A lot of y'all, the reason why your baby daddy and the stuff he doing matters so much, and you can sit on here and say, he's trying to make my life a living hell, or she's trying to, is because you receive in everything they take out. They dish out.
Absolutely. The same thing with the white people, the white man, and slavery, and the it's the way you look at things. It's the way your outset on life is. The way you already wake up with these things stored and in your subconscious mind. This is why I tell you guys, clear your subconscious mind. Do whatever it takes and whatever you have to do. Meditate, pray, take a bath, swim. I don't give a fuck. But clear your subconscious mind. Your thoughts become your actions, yo. What you think is what you put out. Clear that and you'll be straight. You won't be a victim anymore.
Excuse me. Everything they do, every bit of pettiness, everything they say, you make it matter in your world. I talk to y'all all the time about perception and perspectives.
Facts. Real niggas don't give a fuck. Why do it matter that white people have white privilege? I don't give a fuck what privilege they have. I know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I know what the fuck I got to do. I don't give a fuck what you got. I don't give a fuck how many participation awards they give a modern woman. I just don't give a fuck. I know what I got to do because I am not a victim, guys. And that's what I need y'all to understand. And that's the swag and the energy y'all gotta have to win. Remember, guys, remember the intro. If you have to play the intro back and hear the great lady speak, play the intro back, yo. It's capitalism, bro. You either swim or sink. You either play the risk game or you play the blame game. But either or, the choice is yours.
What you have going on within you really determines how you perceive the world and what you receive in. I explained this to y'all before. I could sit on this live and say all of y'all is some stupid ass, puss ass bitches. Some of y'all, you're going to take it personal, feel some type of way, sell out back. Some of y'all going to get off of here and not think twice and go on with y'all life. So the same thing could be done to multiple people. Say the same exact thing to multiple people, but it hit everybody different because it's based on what's going on within you. Half the stuff that y'all worry about, the stuff that y'all say a baby daddy or a baby mama trying to do to y'all, the stuff that y'all go to work and be annoyed by, the things in y'all community y'all let bother y'all, it come because you receive it in. In order to be bothered, you got to be in a space where the shit actually bothers you.
That's a fact. Y'all run around here with the modern woman mindset, bro. Remember how Kevin Samuels used to have his show and the modern woman used to jump on his show and be triggered? That's how y'all run around here. Y'all didn't see it as that though. When y'all talk this white man and the privilege and the slavery, that's how y'all come off. That's how y'all come off. Too much caring. Like you're looking over your shoulder at the somebody else's plate instead of worrying about how much they have, you worrying about what they don't have, or you know what I mean? Come on. That fucks up. Comparing yourself to somebody is the quickest route to unhappiness, bro. Stop comparing yourself to white people, bro. Stop comparing yourself to successful black people and do the work. Before you look up, you'll be successful and there won't be no reason to compare yourself. You just got to start to do the work.
This has to do with your perception and what you have done to basically fix and be at peace with you. Y'all got to genuinely understand what I'm explaining. Some of y'all don't realize you're easily offended because you're not well. You're easily bothered because you're not well. Notice when I say well, I'm talking about up here because it don't matter how you look or how much money you got. When you're not well, up here, a lot of stuff will bother you. When you've been knowing people for a while, like how some of y'all been knowing y'all baby daddies, you've been knowing your baby mamas, half of y'all, you can call out their behavior before they do it, but yet you still react as if it was some catastrophic event in your life that you did not see coming.
Facts, guys. I tell y'all all the time, y'all. You're not a slave, bro. You're not a victim. If anything, you're a victim and you're a slave to your emotions. This is why I started the channel, to make more of the people become more emotionally intelligent, guys. This is why an emotional intelligent person will always survive longer and out survive a person with just the IQ smarts, because all our IQ is indoctrination. You know what I mean? It ain't got nothing to do with being able to control your emotions. The system and everything is tied to fucking with your emotions and playing on your intelligence, your emotional intelligence, not your IQ though. The IQ already got you hooked to the bullshit. You see what I'm saying? This is why you gotta unhook the emotions, but keep the IQ. You gotta have a mixture of both. But if you heavily weighing on the IQ, you a dummy, a big dummy.
Y'all be knowing, because you done been this nigga baby mama for 5, 6, 7 years. The nigga unreliable. Yet every time he doesn't show up or do some unreliable shit, you make it seem like your world is crashing down. Somebody's doing something.
Absolutely. You see it all the time. You see some dumb white shit, some white people shit, the racist ones, because we got some racist black folks and we got some racist white folks. And we see it every now and then. We see the Karen go crazy, or we see the white man say some racist shit, and then we go, oh my God, racism, slavery. Bruh, it happens every day. We do the same shit. Like, come on, man.
To you. But if this is this person's character, if this is how they are, at some point you got to take care of you, meaning you got to stop worrying about if they get it right or not, and worry about when you're going to get you together enough to be able to move on and not make that shit matter. It's going over a lot of y'all head. A lot of y'all is going right over your head because you want to be some sort of victim of another person. My page ain't that page.
Nope.
The stuff I talk about, it's not going to hit with y'all that keep on wanting to say, but what if you keep trying to do this and the person don't, but love? What if you keep on trying to trust them and they don't, but love? What if you keep on trying to communicate? Your self-esteem is low, honey, because
but Gus, but slaves, but Gus, you know we was in slavery, but Gus, you know you said that a slave ain't a slave if he don't move, and but Gus, God is fake, and but Gus, the Bible wasn't written, and you know, but the but's not gonna work over here, guys, because the but is the author of confusion, and we don't do confusion. We remove the gray area over here. All right, guys? You know what I mean? This is why I tell you, you know what I mean? Go to the lockers if you need to.
if you are trying to give somebody something that they don't want or they're not trying to receive, guess what? You just leave it alone and go work on you. Go live your life. Go pursue your happy. Go do you. I'm going to say this. That victim shit is conditioned in a lot of urban people. The idea that the state of your life is somebody else's fault. The idea that you don't have to be real with yourself about the choices you made and what you're living in is actually the consequences of those choices. Like, that shit is conditioned in y'all. Like, some of y'all, you genuinely believe there's going to be some sort of cookie or some sort of saving at the end of your road for tolerating and accepting mediocrity, or just, I'm fucked up like this because he keep doing this to me. Or I can't get myself together, love, because she keep doing this to me. Or I ain't never.
Right. At this point, poverty is a choice. So when you ask why so many black people in poverty, because they have choose to be in poverty. At this point, information is easily available, and if you black and you still in poverty, then you choosing it. You choosing it. You ain't doing nothing to get out of it. You cool, you comfortable in it. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. We ain't victims though, so shut up. Shut the fuck up and enjoy. Enjoy your poverty life.
Never had this because my mama and them did this, or I was in the system, love. So the excuses, and I ain't even telling you, you can't tell yourself these excuses if that's what you want to do. I'm telling you, ain't nobody gonna come save you. These bitches be broken, fucked up all day life, tired and crying all day life, a victim of everything all day life. Ain't nobody coming to save your ass. Jobs will replace you. Relationships, people will move the fuck on. Kids will grow up and get wiser and distance themselves from you. If you don't work on your energy, your attitude towards life, your self-esteem, your skills to be able to communicate and maintain social relationships, you will go your whole life complaining, bitching, whining, nagging, blaming other people for where you're at. And most people, they got their own demons, their own trauma, their own bills, their own goals that they trying to get together. Now, I said all that to say this. A lot of y'all having a hard time in relationships because you're in them and you're asking for the other person to give you a fairy tale when they're living their own personal nightmare. Y'all want people to be perfect communicators that nobody ever taught them or communicated well with them all throughout their upbringing of their life. Y'all want trust from people that they've been bred of a street and a criminal lifestyle, and they ain't supposed to trust nobody. Is what they mind and they homeboys and their lifestyle has taught them. Y'all want pure, healthy, organic love from people that they've never been shown pure, healthy, organic love. Y'all be in situations and you want monogamy out of somebody that is telling you through their actions and their energy that that's not what they own. And then
Exactly. Y'all want fairness from a land that clearly showed you they ain't trying to be fair at all. So why are we gonna sit around here and argue and not take what we want to take? We gotta take it, bro. Legally take what we need. You be a fool to sit around here and wait and be mad and complain about what's not being given to you. You want them to give you something? You's a fool.
y'all want people to be wrong and villains and evil people for not conforming to what you want them to be when they got their own wants for what they want they self to be. Like, this is some shit y'all really got to receive in. Like, when I be doing these one-on-one calls with y'all, and, you know, I really sit and listen. I listen to how you tell the story. I listen to what you're talking about. I listen for what you feel like is the relevant stuff to tell me. All this shit tell me more about y'all than you ever know. A lot of y'all, you know, you pay for a 30-minute one-on-one consult call with me. For the whole 25 minutes, you talked about the nigga or you talked about the bitch. You don't realize the things that you're telling me about them, it's telling me more about you than them.
That's a whole fact, guys. When y'all jump on my memes or y'all jump in my comments with your little victim ass comments and your victim ass replies, it tells me a lot about what you. It tells me a lot about your education. It tells me a lot about your ideology, how you was raised. You know what I mean? Type of bullshit a person you are. Your bitterness. I can see all of that. I can see all of that.
I'm just looking at y'all like y'all looking at me. Some of y'all, you 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, you have yet to have a genuine understanding for what personal accountability is. There's a lot of y'all females, young and older, you in relationships. You will not, for the life of you, y'all get mad at me. You want to call me names. You want to talk about my tattoo on my neck. You want to say, oh, she trying to get the niggas to pick her. All I be trying to tell y'all is that y'all bitches be trying to manipulate niggas with y'all emotions and y'all feelings. You will ignore what a nigga is telling you and showing you, all for the sake of trying to get your fairy tale in the end out of somebody that does not know how to be a Prince Charming. And then some niggas, they don't want to be one. A lot of y'all dudes, for the life of me, y'all cannot understand when I explain that if a woman does not respect you, she will not submit to you. You will not have this fucking relationship goal, tame a woman, that's my bitch, she ain't gonna look at nobody else, wifey material ass situations when you with a woman that she does not respect you as the man that you are. And you can't teach a woman how to respect you. That shit comes based on her getting to know you and seeing value in you that she feels like needs to be respected. I told y'all dudes, some of y'all, you done spent a lifetime getting pussy, but you ain't conquered now woman. You fuck a lot of bitches, but you've conquered none. Meaning you've been in the bed with bitches that while you in them, they don't trust you. Time you get up, They're ready to argue with you. The energy between y'all be so toxic, so negative. Everything she got to say overall has to do with manipulating and controlling you.
And then those be the dudes that say they victims. At the end of the day, those dudes that get on the panel and they get hella mad at the modern woman and they just be ready to, oh, fuck all women. I hate all women. Bro, you ain't a victim. You did that to yourself. You saw them red flags, bro. You like that. You like that woman. That woman reminds you of your hell of a mother. You know what I mean? So cut it out. Knock it off.
You as a man, y'all won't listen when I'm explaining to y'all. Respect is what gets a woman to be submissive, to listen to you different, to talk to you different, to care differently about what you want for yourself. Y'all just don't get this. It's always, but love, what about this? But love, what if these bitches this? I explained the other day when I was on the one-on-one with the dude, nigga make over $500,000 a year, trying to understand how to, set his lifestyle up. He want to deal with multiple women. He don't want to lie to him. He wanted to be only women that actually want to be in situations like that. Cool. Y'all not can help a bitch organize their life however they want it when it comes to this relationship shit. The issue is you got to have a certain level of self-esteem already before you go socialize and try to deal with other people. You have to have a certain level of respect for yourself for you to go out and want people to respect you. Women want to feel wanted. Men want to be respected. The only way a woman is actually going to be submissive, and you're going to see that soft side, and in your presence, she's going to allow you to be a man and not be telling you what to do and trying to boss you around and be your motherfucking mama and your counselor and your pastor and all of that shit, is for you to be someone that she respects. And a lot of y'all niggas stay around past the disrespect. I'm just looking at y'all like y'all looking at me. A lot of y'all women, you in relationships, you love a nigga because you let him fuck too soon, and when I say too soon, what I mean is you didn't give him the chance to earn you. So the nigga got the milk without having to buy the cow. Like the shit's going on before the nigga ever have to actually earn it. And see, this is what y'all think. You think because you cute and you pretty and you on top of the nigga head and you got him texting you stuff, you feel like your pussy is such woo that the man gonna actually see value in something that he got for free. And y'all think men don't sit around and understand that I got way more than what I actually earned out of her. She gave the shit away. So why the fuck would I actually jump through hoops, work any different, rearrange my lifestyle when the bitch is teaching me what she will how to treat her?
And that's a fact, guys. Look at Nia Long. Nia Long, you know what I mean? She put the cart before the horse. She let him have a baby and all of that. You know what I mean? So she ain't doing that. Now she finna be the 3-time baby mother, two-time single mother. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. But ladies, y'all, use your head. Y'all supposed to be the most educated women in the planet.
Based on what she's tolerating. No value. And see, you can't fuck your way into something and then try to talk your way out of it. Meaning y'all will give up pussy and shit and fuck your way into a situation where a nigga don't really see no value in you. Then you try to talk the nigga into valuing you. Then you be somewhere on a phone call crying, trying to make me believe the nigga did something to you. But you ain't have no boundaries. You ain't have no stages, no layers to you, to where the man got a reason to pursue you. And then all y'all want to sit around and say is niggas ain't shit. Niggas.
That's a fact. See, that's the victim mentality, guys. Don't get thrown off. She's still tying in the victim mentality. This is how women use the victim mentality, you know what I mean, when it comes to man and woman. And this is how men use their victim mentality when it comes to man on women. All right? So we transitioning from how black people overall use a victim mentality when it comes to success to how that trickles down to how you function in a relationship with each other. And no, love is not married. You know what I mean? She probably not gonna get married. You know what I mean? She's in a relationship though. She got a boyfriend. You know what I mean? She got a boyfriend. Salute to my guy, Kings and Dreams, yo. He in the house. What's going on, man? Nah, she is? Did she get married? I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I mean, I kind of follow her. I'll check Jalen and give you that. But last time I heard, she was not married. I mean, maybe engaged, but she's not married. She got a boyfriend though. She got a boo-boo. She married in the eyes of God. You know what I mean? You know she got the mindset to keep and harvest that relationship. So she's good.
Niggas ain't this. Niggas ain't.
Truthfully, guys, marriage is not the wave. You know what I mean? Originally in the Bible, the way the Bible was written, yes, you know what I mean. God said we should be married, but you gotta also remember, we can get married in the eyes of God, guys. And in fact, once we merge, once we bust it open and throw it back, you know what I mean. Once we bust it open, throw it back, we merge, guys. And from that point on, we supposed to keep it righteous, you know what I mean, to one another. But that's not how we all playing the game, and we're all accumulating karma points and then looking stupid at the end. But that's how it is, though. You know what I mean? Marriage is no longer the law of the land. You know what I mean? You see what it is. Marriage is now used as a devil instrument to destroy masculinity and destroy the family structure. So marriage is no longer the law of the land by state. So real folks and real individuals like hardcore red pillars like myself, Mrs. Goodbread, Love, I don't think we'll probably ever get married because we know what it is. Like, you know what I mean? When you red pill, once you pop the red pill, it's no more erasing what you know. You know what you know. You know what I mean?
That, but what are you that you allow for the shit to go on in your space? This is another thing too, in this same category. I don't know who like educated y'all or didn't educate y'all on what dating is, but people are allowed to talk to multiple people when they're dating. When people are dating, they are dating. They are weighing out their options, deciding who they mesh well with. Y'all be a bug from jump. Just let that settle. A bug from jump. Y'all be trying to catch people in stuff that you can't catch them in because you're not in some monogamous, committed relationship. They haven't earned you. You haven't earned them. Nobody ain't had no real. You feel like, oh, because you done fucked me 2 or 3 times, you should have known that if you fucking with me, like basically, you better not fuck with nobody else. And it's supposed to be just on the strength of like, because you fucked me a couple times. A bug from jump. A whole bug from jump. What's in your wallet? I'm just looking at y'all like y'all looking at me.
All right, Love, I'm gonna let you go, Love, because you know what I mean. You said enough, but she summed up the victim mentality in a nutshell, yo. That's it right there. That's it. That's all. Now I'm going to get my ass on over to court. You know what I mean? So those of y'all, I see y'all over there at court. This been a good show, very informative, man. This was some history for y'all. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody that came on over and tuned in. Please like, subscribe if you new. Hit the bell so that you get the notification. You know what I mean, guys? And I'll see y'all later, man. I ain't done working today, man. I'm gonna see y'all later. Matter of fact, matter of fact, we gotta talk about the Kanye West and Puff Daddy beef because they fighting over, you see what I'm talking about? They fighting over who gonna take us to the boat. You see what I mean about the black folks, guys? This is why we not victims. We only victims if we allow ourselves to be victims. You see, we got 2 black men. We got the beta and the simp fighting over control over the people mind. You know what I mean? Kanye winning. He right because he blowing shit up. But he ain't right. We know Kanye ain't no right. You know what I mean? He ain't no better. But that's just a perfect example of what we talked about today, guys. Of what we talked about today. Now, why is Puffy attacking Kanye West when y'all both get checks from government saying Zaddy? You know what I mean? All Kanye did was wear a White Lives Matter shirt on white territory in Europe. What happened? Why is us in America worrying about that? And why is you so worried about what Kanye do when you ain't helping the people, Puff Daddy? You're a trillionaire, billionaire now, right? What have you done to help the people other than make garbage music and kill all your artists? But we gonna talk about it, guys. We gonna talk about it, man. Facts, yo. So y'all wrap up, strap up, drink responsibly, do not play with your life. We do it for the culture, man. 100, man. And salute to my guy, Aviator View Sounds. He sponsored this show today. You know what I mean? This show was his idea. You know what I mean? He made me do it. Blame it on him. It's always his fault. It's Jermaine's fault. Blame it on Jermaine. I check y'all, man. 100, man. We out here, yo.
You are not niggers. You are not coons. You may smoke reef and drink wine and do crazy, wicked things, but you are not a wicked person by nature. You have lent yourself to wickedness, but you are a divine creature that must now come into the knowledge and power of your own divinity. And no preacher can resurrect you into your divinity. It takes God himself to bring you into your own divine nature. So we're not dealing with prophets. We have walked out of prophet teaching. This is the time and the presence of God. So I don't talk about God will come. God is already here. And he's working in me to resurrect you to your divine nature.